Bashir Gavadas, the water, Yahweh, water, Yahweh, Bashir Yahushua, Shlaki, my Father, for my sins as I cry. Baba Gashai, Yahweh, as I praise you on high. Call on Yahweh, Vashem Yahushai. Rakatha Yahweh, for your mercy all the time. Thwada Yahweh, for the Akim that you supply. Call Yahweh, Vashem Yahushai. Thwada Yahweh, for your mercy all the time. Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Obadiah Halkanan, and I am psyched today because everything the Father's doing is on time, on point, spot on always. Woo-wee! So I'm quite psyched today. Want to give, definitely get into my salutations, but before I even do that, let me go right into a scripture that I want to bring out because, as you know, the lesson for today is, and this is important, and I'm going to tell you why, but let's get the scripture out first. Zechariah chapter 14, leading the scripture right on point, starting, and it says 17, and it reads, and it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem, YAHSHARALA, to worship the King, Yahushua, put in place by the Father, the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. 18, and if the families of Egypt do not come up, if the families of Egypt go not up and come not that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. 19, this shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of the nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. In that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto Yahweh. The pots in the Lord's house, Yahweh's house, shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem, in Judah shall be holiness unto Yahweh of hosts, and all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them and see therein, and in that day there shall be no more Canaanite in the house of Yahweh of hosts, and no more Edomites. Thank Yahweh all power that they'll be gone. Woo, man, I'm telling you. All right, we're going to get into today. I'm going to start off with giving my salutations to the brethren and the apostles who have been diligently bringing out the truth, the stick-to-itness, and the admiration is unprecedented that they should get it because they have been faithful in doing what they're supposed to do. If you are, listen, everybody that's supposedly in this truth, they know that the only ones that got it right and came out with the accuracy was the apostles of Great Millstone. Look, look, come on, let's just give it up, all right? Let's get it most high. Let's get the most high hand for those who stick to the truth, okay? Much like what I was hearing when I was watching the game yesterday, and he said, nobody can do it like us. Nobody can do it better than us. And nobody can stop it. And we're going to keep on doing it because nobody can do it better and nobody can stop it. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, you know, I just grew up in Philly, so you know how that works. All right, not to digress. Okay, I want to get back. You want to give my salutations to the scatter and elect. around the whole world, in all the nations, like my brother Malcolm always says, who are the speckled bird that are in the nations, that look like the nations, but they not those nations, they just are scattered. And we're going to get into that today, because this is what we're going to be talking about today. Because again, the lesson, and the name of the lesson is Salvation, Shalaki, YAHAWAH'S, Salvation of YAHSHARALA, and the salvaging of some of the nations. Because we know, and we're going to get to it, like it says here in Zechariah 14:21, that the Canaanite ain't gone, Edomite, or in Obadiah, we're going to read that, gone. So all we got left is the rest of those nations that are going to be subservient. If you don't like it, I don't care. Okay. But anyway, getting out and starting out the way we need to do to get into this and do it right. The Most High, here's the thing. All right, this is what the Father has put me on at this particular time, and I love him for it, because he is not playing. All right, he has laid this situation out, and I love it. Okay, I've been the Most High has got me on something that I guess we could call it a super nutrient rich, high fiber spiritual doctrine that evolved from what the apostles have brought out in terms of the ability to cohesively think spiritually more than carnally. Okay, in other words, we have a tendency of taking carnal capacities of our lifestyles and then inserting spiritual attributes of understanding as an icing or a covering over carnal things. And this becomes a very major problematic situation, especially for us as individuals who are supposed to be operating in this truth at the level that we should be. Again, the Most High, no persons of respect come from the Most High in terms of individuals in general. He will give a measure of respect based on, the process of your predestination, if I can say that. If you can give me so much of a blessing to actually give you that narrative. We all have been determined from the beginning. Everything has been determined from the beginning. When he says that he set the end from the beginning from the end, roughly paraphrased, he didn't leave anything out. So we got to understand that there is no position of free will. Okay, let's make sure we make that perfectly clear. Like in King James Bible scripture on who can make a crooked thing straight and a straight thing crooked, right? Okay, I mean, this is what the Father said. And when he did that, who's going to stop him? And in fact, what is that? Let me see. That scripture is Ecclesiastes 7, right? 13, right? Okay, he says here, consider the work of Yahweh and his strength, who made the blind, the crooked, and the lame, and be wonders in the world. Who can make a straight one of them but the Lord of the world, who made him crooked, right? Others of spiritual defects, such as who walk in crooked ways, right? And are hindered. Them, who can correct them and make them otherwise, right? So he says here, and otherwise, right? So the Most High, he's the one that can make a thing crooked and a thing straight. No one else can do that. He's in control of all things, right? Even in the Bible, his scripture, who can resist his will? I mean, we know off the bat, right? In Romans 9:19, right? I mean, Romans 9, chapter 9, 19, right? He says, no one can resist the Most High's agenda, right? Paul responds with the profound answer, you're only a created man. You cannot argue with Yahweh, okay? your creation. Paul anticipates an argument in response to why does he still find fault for who resists his will, implying that Yahweh cannot judge, no one can judge better than Yahweh because he's in total control. So you can't resist his will. And so it brings me back again to what I was saying from the beginning. The mindset that the Most High has got me in from a spiritual perspective, because his spirit dwells in me. Again, as I said, his spirit dwells in me and it wells up in me as it does when I get off of suspension and then, I'm out to do a lesson for the Most High YAHSHARALA. So clearly we can see that's the nature of the situation, but the Most High is in control of all things at all times. And we have to make sure we stay focused on that. He's doing everything. So now when I look at people who are in organizations or camps that debate so-called religious practitioners, Christianity-based individuals, I don't care whatever belief system they're under, I don't care what's happening in the world at this particular time, whether it's over in Northeast Africa or Northeast Asia Minor or whatever you want to call it, or they call it the Middle East because there's no Middle South or no Middle North, so that's a bunch of crap. But what I'm saying is the Father is doing all of this, and he has already determined and programmed how to do all this. So it still goes back when he says to me, you can't debate my word to anyone, okay? You can't debate me with anyone. Now, okay, we're contending for the faith. All right, well, the Father said to me, if you want to contend for my faith with people who are bugged out, that I made them bugged out, because that's what the Father did. So don't you get bugged out over the bug outs that he made bugged out, because you can't change that. I don't care what you say, what you do, who you think you belong to, what organization you're from. You cannot change what the Father did. You could pray to the Father to change these people around and make them turn out to be righteous and whatever. No, if you were 2/3, you were 2/3. If you were 1/3, you were 1/3. If you were 144, you were 144. If you this, that, and the third, that's what he made you. You are not going to pray away the changes he's made. You're not going to do it. If it doesn't follow in prophecy, if it doesn't follow in line with the scriptures say specifically, you are out of fucking line. Point blank, period. I don't care what you say. If you don't like Jake going off, then fine. Teach around it, all right? Go ahead. Say to yourself, you know what? Yeah, my brothers do a fantastic job. Give the Most High hand. They bring out how bad the situation is getting and how bad it's rolling. And then what does the Father say? He is going to do what? Judgment starts in the house of YAHSHARALA first. It starts in the house of Israel first. That includes all of the tribes, even all the scattered. Yes, this is what's going to happen. He's already predetermined this. So we know that he's used Esau to kick our ass for over thousands of years, and he's still using the same MO, the method of operation. He's not changing that. We can't change it. We can't pray it away. You can't wash it away. Your organization can't make a movement to get it go away. It's going to still go forward. And if you're in the way or think you're in the way of the Most High doing what he's doing with all the bug outs, all the people, all the organizations, and all the stuff that's happening, if you think you're going to get in the way and say something or do anything about it in terms of what you say online, outside, or whatever, all he's going to do is he's going to roll over you. He will take your ass back to the spirit world if you even think you have the power to stop what he's doing. Everything he's in total control of. That's right. Even when he told you in scripture, he said, we say what? Yahweh, protect me from the wicked, which is thy sword. So you already know he's doing it all. So don't get in his way, and don't you think that you can, because he's controlling all that. You work with him because he's already got you in that position. Okay, so how do you do it? Oh, well, how do I do that over there? Whatever. Okay, look, all right, fine. You teach and you preach about the fact that what? That all these things are being poured out on us as a people. It's being poured out on us as a nation, just like Deuteronomy chapter 28. Even the people that supposedly didn't do anything wrong, but all of the rest of the nation that was doing things wrong, everybody went into captivity. He didn't spare the ones that wasn't doing right, that doing wrong. Everybody went. You can't change that. So, knowing that's the case, what do? You go into the portion of his words in the scriptures where he tells you, this is what I'm going to do, Joseph. This is what I'm going to do, Noah. This is what I'm going to do, Ezekiel. Now, when I've told you what I'm going to do and my word can't come back void, so that means you have to learn to work around and through it. You can't get past it, but what he teaches you how to go through it. So going through it, he gives you a method to understand around it. How do you do that? Well, he gives you clues. He clues you in on the things he's doing as the process moves forward. That's why he said he'll tell you the season, not the actual time, but the time of the season, but not the actual definitive time of when he's actually going to do something. He gives you a clue that works around the actual event. And then what happens to you? What do? If you pick up on the clue and you dig for more through praise, worship, and prayer, hint, praise, worship, and prayer, then you pick up on the clue and you get a chance to go through the process that can be tribulating to you and get to a point where that situation becomes effective for you to move forward with your method of working out your salvation in trembling and fear. Fear and trembling, whatever you want to call it. Rough paraphrase, that's what ends up happening. But see, if you start getting into this rule where you start running around and you think that, like I was listening to Brother YAHWAH'S the other day, this bug out was coming in talking about he's the YAHWAH'S, he's a Mashiach, right? Now, you know he's a bug out, all right? Fine. And who bugged him out? The Father bugged him out. Why? Because that's what he was determined to do. So say what you got to say, leave that sucker alone, and get back to work. That's what it's about. Because why? The time is being dwindled down. The hourglass that the Father has in place that is prophetic, a prophecy-based hourglass, that hourglass was turned over, and those sands of seasonal time for prophecy are now running through pretty fast. The less sand, the faster it goes. You notice that. When it's a lot of sand in the hourglass, it seemingly trickles a little slower. But as the sand gets lower in the flask that it's in, it starts to go faster. And this is what you're seeing now in terms of what's happening over there and what's happening everywhere else, including here. It's starting to move faster, but you can't stop it. And why would you want to? This is how we get out of here. It's gotta go so bad that the demons don't want to be here. What is wrong? You know, Most High said in the scripture, where is that scripture? I should pull it up. He said that why does our people have a forehead of flint? Do you know what a forehead of flint is? You got a freaking cinder block head where you can't understand he's doing this and you can't stop it. You can complain about it and you can do lessons about it, but you can't stop it. You should be championing the fact that he's doing it this fast, because that means we get out of here faster. This is what the apostles been telling you the whole time. We get the fuck out of here when it goes really, 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 really bad. It has to. So come on now. Let's get with it. When it started getting really, really bad of 120 years of preaching and teaching that Noah was out there doing, don't you see how bad it got even to the time up to the point where the Most High had to say, okay, everything's in the ark. I'm going to close the ark and then, okay, I'm going to just finish this, right? Imagine how bad it was, let's just say, after 100 years, 50 years was probably really bad. Okay, 75 years probably got even worse. Then it got to the point where we were in like 100 years and Noah's doing his thing, and he was teaching and preaching and telling everybody, here it comes. Now, so you know how bad it was getting at that time. Okay, then it got to what, 100 years is going down 110. Woo, okay, now imagine how bad it was then at 110 years he's been doing this. Well, look at what's going on here where we are in the timeline of prophecy. How bad it's getting. And we ain't even in Jeremiah chapter 30 yet where we talk about Jacob's trouble. We ain't there yet. But let me tell you something. It's got to go so freaking bad that it's going to be unbearable. That's why he even said in scripture what? That the elect will scarcely make it. So if the elect are going to scarcely make it, and we don't all know who they are, we can't say, I can't say, you can't say we are that or not. We say hopeful, but we don't know. But I'm going to tell you something. The elect scarcely make it. What does that say for everybody else? And it doesn't say for sure that you can change it by your actions, because you can't. You cannot. So all those bug ass talking about, well, you know, if you come totally back into the law, statutes, and commandments, then of course, you know, at that point in time, you know, we could be saved. No, that's not what the Father said. He's only coming to bring the elect out this time. Everybody else, they got to go to their own personal barbecue at some point in time. Maybe not the 1/3, maybe they're at the barbecue, but they're not part of what's on the grill. But there's a lot of people that's going to be on the grill. And I mean charcoal niggerettes, big bricks, okay? But the bottom line is real simple. You're not going to change what he's doing. No matter what you think you're doing, no matter how much you think that you can, you know, can sway and pray and stay and play, but you're not going to change what he's doing. And if he's designated you for a specific purpose, that's what you're going to fulfill. And you can't get out of it. Just like we can't get out of what we do right now. There's just no possible way we can do that. So going into trying to wrap this portion of it up to give you a clear understanding of where the Most High has me at this point, and ain't nothing jumping on me, okay? It wells up in me because that's what happens, and that's how the Spirit dwells in me. If it dwells in me, it wells up in me. It's not dwelling, it's not getting away from me. It's not going away. If I'm supposed to be one who the Father has chosen as his child, he's going to have the Spirit dwell in me and sup with me, and I love him for it, and that's why I praise and worship and sing to him, because I'm not too proud to do that. But what I'm saying is, at this point now, if you're talking to people who come up to your camp or organization and they're bugged out, they're supposed to be bugged out. If they are the elect, they're going to come up and they may be a little bit, you know, off in terms of what they understand, but their attention span may be subject to them listening to some truth if they are to receive it. If they're programmed by the Most High in their prophetic move, in their predestination process that they've been designed in, they'll hear it and they'll take away what they're supposed to get from it because the Most High designed them to do that. I've heard Brother Elder Manak Zakba say before, it don't matter where you teach and where you preach, if the Most High wants someone who is of the elect or of the 1/3 of those that are supposed to receive the truth, hear the word, he'll bring them to you. He will. You know, and that's understandable, because once they get there, they may get what they need from you. They may get that seed that may be planted. It may not grow at that moment in front of you. I mean, what plant, as soon as you plant it, all of a sudden you put water on it and woo, it just sprung right up and now you got a full-grown plant or tree. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so we know for the most part, if someone's directed on your path and they stay and they listen and they exchange with you, not in a bugged out fashion, but, you know, just listening, there may be one standing on the side listening to you go through a dissertation with a bugged out individual that the Most High sent, just so there's certain periods of information that get to them that is fruitful in order for them to be able to eventually be called out and into this truth and then brought into the position that they were predestined to be in. Now, we know that these are the things that end up happening. But the point is, it's not your call or my call or anyone else's call to say for a fact that this is what's happening and that's what's happening. We just have to do our part by preaching, teaching, and going through the process of expounding on the directives on how we go around the bull, you know what is called the bull, and get to the point of giving the information that allows us to go through it. And this is what it does. Just like with the Bible, in the Torah and the book of remembrance and whatever you want to call it that's valid, it translates itself. And if you read it right and say it and you know it right and you've been taught right, then you'll get the scriptures out in the way that you should. And then what will happen is that you'll be in a position where you can move forward with the work that you're doing for the Most High. Because in the Hebrew, the word work is worship. So being out on highways and byways and doing the things of this nature, this is a form of worship. Is it a complete form of worship? I can't answer that because I'm not the one receiving the worship. Only YAHAWAH'S is receiving it. But it is a form of worship to an extent, if you are out doing this on the highways and byways, if you're doing it online, if you're doing it in whatever fashion that you're bringing forth the truth. Now, in prayer, we know we do that without ceasing all the time, especially at the same time. Now, but you cannot try to equate the praise in the process of those two attributes of what you are supposed to do and designed to do and what the Father requires of us. He demands that of us. Now, the praise is another side of the situation. If you don't understand what praise is, you're good at looking up words. You do that a lot. Look up a word. Find out what praise is exactly. It's specific. It's different than worship. It's different than prayer, because the praise does something at a much, much higher level of love for the Most High himself, which he's looking for when you present your sacrifice to Yahawashi, that again, he presents that to the Father. So this is what we're dealing with. So as far as worrying about what the bug outs are going to do and how they're going to do it, who cares? The Most High set him up. He put him in that position. He wants them to do he set them up to do exactly what they're doing, and that's what they're going to do, and they're supposed to do that. If you got a problem with that, then you got a problem with the way the Most High is finishing this eonic period. He's finishing it that way. Nobody's going to change it. Yahawashi can't change it. The angels ain't going to change it. Nothing on the left side or nothing on the right side is going to change the way he's setting forth everything that's going on. And so let's get into it. Okay, so I've done enough of that, and now we're going to go into breaking down the scriptures. Kahalo YAHAWAH'S Yahushua, Bashim Rakadash, through the Holy Spirit. Let's get it going. We're going to start out where I started in Zechariah chapter 14, and I want to start at the top. Now, the lesson's going to be long, so if you don't want to learn anything, then just go to whatever you want to go watch this, go watch that, go watch whoever you want to watch, but this is going to be a longer lesson. I got quite a few precepts to get through to get through the point, and the main point I'm trying to get to is we need to talk about things that are to come. The Most High said to me through Yahawashi, he said, tell my children, feed the sheep some of the glorious things, some of the things that they should be looking forward to in the when we get into the kingdom. You know, we talk all about the destruction and the judgment and the wrath of the Most High. We don't talk about the day of the Lord here today, but we're going to transition from that into what happens once we are in the land. We don't talk enough about our reward in salvation and how things are going to be when we get into the new kingdom, into the new covenant. We need to expound on that. Like, for instance, my brothers have a funny way of trying to love, because their own women, because of how ratchet our women have become over the course and scope of the way the Most High is taking us through the cleansing and purification process, if you can receive it. Yes, all of us who are as ratchet as we are, because, you know, our righteousness is as filthy rags, which the scripture says, you know, roughly paraphrasing without giving you scripture, actual edification on that verse. I'm saying we are all ratchet as we are compared to what is to come. But the thing is, we know that what is to come for us at the end of the book, we all turn into the righteousness that the Most High was presented in us for our infinitive nature that will continue to escalate and grow as we are in the new covenant and the new kingdom for eternal salvation. So my Aquafian sisters, who my brothers from time to time, who get so frustrated with, they got to realize these beautiful Israelite women who are going to become the daughters of Yahweh, which we become the sons of Yahweh, they're going to be in the kingdom. Now, I did a lesson before where the shame of what we put toward them and on them without understanding how to love them is we're going to have to reflect on that. That's going to be presented when we get into the new kingdom and the new covenant. It's not going to be wiped away like that, because the scripture didn't say that. So if you prove me wrong, then you're going to tell me where they're not going to remember what's been said about them and to them. Why is it we don't say about our Aquafian sisters, even the ones that are wayward at this time, how gracious and glorious and beautiful they're going to be. They are going to be the most beautiful female creatures that the Most High has ever made, more than any of the nations that are going to be working in the fields and outside the temple and outside the court, because they're not going to be the ones that's going to be in that position. The Israelite woman that becomes the Aquafium princess of the Most High Yahweh and his daughters, they're going to be beyond what you can imagine, remarkably beautiful. How come we don't talk about that? How come we don't talk about that conversion? Huh? What's going on? Do you think they're not going to be converted? Oh, you get to be converted into a super immortal being of holiness and righteousness as a man of the Lord and as a chosen seed of the Father in a male perspective, but the women don't get to be, comparable to a level that you would love them and say, wow, look what the Father did with our women. This is what's going to happen when we get to the kingdom. These are things we should be inspired to talk about. Why? Because it's going to happen and they're going to be there. You're not going to be able to say, I could put away the Akwaf that are now the righteous princesses with righteous immortal bodies and spiritual beauty compared to the ones that are going to be these freaking dogs working in the fields out there in the world and in their lands. All those nations are going to their lands and they're going to be managed by Yahweh Shem Yahushai and his righteous government. So they're not going to be the ones that are going to be with all gracious honor, beauty, and just what you can't imagine. This is what our Israelite women are going to be. Yeah, they look bad now. Yeah, we don't like the blonde hair and all the fake BBLs and all the rest of the stuff. No, we ain't into that. But think about what they're going to be like when they are converted and changed. And their reproach is the only reproach that could be removed. Esau's woman, her reproach can't be removed. The Moabites, the 10 generations, they can't come into anything. They're not going to be there. The Most High is going to give you the Israelite woman beyond what you can imagine. But we don't talk about that conversion. We talk about the men converting, a man being pure as the gold of Ophir, the purest gold that there is. But what you think the women are going to be like, our Israelite women are going to be like? They're going to be awesome too, man. You better understand how the Most High operates. He always operates in balance in everything. He always operates in balance. So I'm going to talk about, again, with this lesson, salvation of YAHSHARALA, which is going to include our Israelite women and the salvaging of some of the other nations. And this is what Yahweh is already set in motion that's going to happen. And no one's going to change that. And he's already showed you in scriptures, and we're going to do it. All right, like I said, not digress anymore. Let's talk about Yahweh, who battles for Jerusalem and the foes, right? Verse 1, behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against YAHSHARALA, Jerusalem, to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravaged, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. See, the Most High always starts with his judgment and his chastisement with the house of Israel first, okay? And that's just the nature of his cleansing. That's the nature of his purification and cleansing. Don't get it twisted. He doesn't hate us, but in order for us to be in the position of in his presence with the holy angels and Yahushua and presence of the Father, we have to be cleansed and purified. And he's not going to change that just because you don't like it. Okay, let's finish, okay? Going to 3. Then shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in the day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and towards the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half of it towards the south. Now, when we talk about mountains, of course, we talk about nations, how big nations are. And then when we talk about hills, we talk about cities or smaller dwellings. But this is what we want to make sure we stay in context, right? 5, and ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach out unto Azel. Yea, ye shall flee like as ye flee from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And Yahweh, my power shall come, and all the saints with thee. 6, and it shall come to pass in the day that the light shall not be clear nor dark. Okay, so what does that mean, the light shall not be clear or dark? Okay, if the light shall not be clear or dark, that means that the understanding will be quite confusing to a lot of people on what's actually happening. Our people, as well as those that the Most High is taking his pleasure in pleading with them. Because Amar the Bible was saying, understand, when the Lord pleads with you, he's not asking you for anything. He's showing you how he's discerning the judgment that you deserve, and this is what you're going to get. So the light shall not be clear nor dark, okay? But it shall be one day which shall be known to Yahweh, not day nor night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. That means when the Father comes in, that the method he does, there will be nothing that will be more important, that will be more focused, that will have to get more attention than what he's actually doing at that time. You make sure you understand that, okay? All right, and now, of course, you know, Yahweh will be king over all at this particular time, because this is what Yahweh is bringing his son to do. 9, and Yahweh shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, which is Yahweh, and his name one. Okay, not multiple, not many, but one name, meaning he controls it through his son and all of the powers that he's ordained. 10, all the land shall be turned as a plain from Gibeah to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Heniel unto the king's winepress. The tower of Heniel means the spring, like a fresh spring, a water place location. Just wanted to hit you with that real quick. But, you know, again, when he talks about the gates, the Most High is telling you that there's 12 gates in heaven, and there's the name of the 12 tribes on the 12 gates in heaven, right? Okay, so, 12 thrones. So we understand that these gates are important in reference to what? They're important in reference to who's authorized to be able to pass through these gates, and how, and if these gates are up, that means they are also keeping out what's not supposed to go in. Okay, and that's clear to understand. So any of the religious practitioners or individuals that talk about all nations and a multitude of this, that, and the third that are going to pass through these gates and make it, that's not going to happen. See, you got to remember and bring forth foundational truth when you're talking to the bug outs that the Most High put in place to be out here. Break them down from the beginning. Tell them right off the bat, listen, this book has nothing to do with you. If you do not understand the prophetic process and the precepts that come from this book, who they are meant for from the beginning, then I have no conversation for you at all. Keep it moving. Keep it stepping. This is not for you. I'm not here to talk about no fake white Jesus. I'm not here to talk about any other creational entities that you practice religious belief systems under. Keep it moving. Bottom line is, this book is only for the children that were chosen by the Most High. Even though multiple nations were made, he didn't choose all of them. So therefore, I have no conversation for you. If you do not believe that the Creator, our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, is in control of all things and he's made a selection, you can keep it freaking moving. All right? I ain't got no time for you. I'm not wasting no time on you. All right? This world was made for our sakes. That's it. That's in the book of 2nd Ezra. You go there and you read it. And that's what he said, and that's what it is, okay? It's not made for anyone else, so stop wasting time talking to people who this does not apply to. They're not supposed to get it. They're not supposed to get it, okay? Let's keep it going, all right? All right, where are we at? Yes, we talked about 11. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. Now, if there's no more utter destruction, then that must mean the vessels of wrath that were fitted for destruction will no longer be available. No more Canaanites, no more Edomites. They're vessels of wrath fitted for destruction. The final destruction, okay? Make sure you get it straight, all right? 12, and this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against YAHSHARALA, Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Remember, I remember watching that movie with Indiana Jones. What was it? And when they talked about the Ark of the Covenant, when they went after that, remember? And when the Germans got a hold of it, and then that fake priest Belloc, okay, he tried to go and open up the Ark and call up the Lord and the power, and when the spirits came out of the Ark, they got melted just like this. Okay, it's coming. Don't be shocked and surprised when this kind of situation actually physically happens, okay? Because it will. So, just get ready for that level of the sword. And anyway, all right, consume away. 13, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult. That's going to be a lot more trouble than you can imagine. Tumult is like a tornado inside of a whirlwind, inside of a earthquake, inside of a nuclear holocaust. It's going to be off the chain. Tumult from Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold everyone on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And this is what you see happening now, right? Because you can see, that's what I'm saying, that sand's a timer rolling really quick as less sand is in the hourglass. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all of the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. Pretty much and very similar to what happened when leaving out of Egypt. But again, this is on the level of taking as opposed to what was said, give it and we'll move out. So in Egypt, I don't recall them fighting and taking it from them, but they were given that abundance as well. But this is during this transitional period of time where we're coming out of this Ionic period and moving into the new covenant, new kingdom period, in that transitional period of time. So that's why you see these things are gathered together for an abundance. 15, and so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, and the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents at this plague. In other words, all the power and all the resources and all of the methods that are going to be used to acquire these things will also be available to the Israelites at this time. 16, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, Yahweh, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So everybody's going to come up and worship after things have been set straight and set in motion. As I read before, there's no one going to be able to go against this. 17, and it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahushua, who Yahweh, the Father of hosts, said it, put in place, along with King David and 144 in the governing body, even upon them shall no rain come on these heathens that are not willing to do this. Let me stop here for a second and explain something, because I know sometimes people go, all right, well, if Yahweh, the Father, is in control of all things, and he's in control of all his creation, everything he created, he has total control over. So why would it be such that individuals could have the ability to defy whether they would come up and worship the King? Because see, it said here, and it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon him there shall be no rain. Okay. I just told you and read to you the scripture that who can resist his will? Okay. This is going to take a little bit of explaining, so I hope you can receive it, because this is from the Most High YAHWAH'S. All right. Once you read into the scriptures, various clues that the Father gives you about what level of participation he allows you within his creation. Let me say it again. What participation he allows within his creation to perform things for what purpose? The purpose of understanding what level of purification and also infinitive development you go to. What do I mean by that? All right. If the Father controls, because the Father controls all things, he can determine what level of resistance he wishes to portray in his creation. You hear what I said? He controls all things, so he can determine what level of resistance he wants to portray in his creation. Why? Because what that does is a teaching method, and it's a correction method at the same time in the management process of his infinitive creative nature. This is what he does. All right. I know that this is probably not easy for some to receive, but this is how he's operating, because he can. He is the He is the one that has created and developed the process of creation and the control of that process of creation. So if he decides that he wants to present a method of resistance from what he controls as a teaching method that bring you closer to understanding why you're cleansed, why you're purified, and why you evolve to an infinitive stamp and process of creation, this is what's being shown. So at the same time, these entities that he has working out, let's say in the field or in their nations, wherever, they're not resisting as though they can resist or defy the Most High. He predetermined, and he has complete control over their method of resistance. But in the same time, what it does is it creates that management of the salvation process that we are under, in the terms of us managing these individuals that are not at the same level that we are. That's why there is a different level of us as opposed to them, okay? There's a hierarchy, if you can understand that language better. And the hierarchy presents more management, control, and responsibility and accountability. And as the Father says, everything's done decently and in order. And in order to manage and control these other nations decently in order, the Father still presents the position of the least resistance in terms of what he uses to make them compliant based on what we learn in how we will manage through eternity these individuals that will be around for as long as they will, because they'll still have mortal capacities. So because they have those mortal capacities, they have to still be managed correctly. All right, that's why we won't do things to them the same exact way they were done to us, because that wasn't the process that the Father wanted to have on us. Our least resistance was different and will be different than the least resistance that they go through, if you can receive this understanding. I know some of you may be able to, some of you may not, but this is why it could be conflicting if you heard the Father say, I tell you that he's in control of all things, but then he says, and if the families of Egypt go not up and come not, and that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherein the Lord will smite the heathen and come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So he still has a process of training and least resistance. And in order to train, you have to have both. You have to have the dichotomy of correct behavior and what we could call correctional behavior that has to be corrected. So we have that. So just don't get confused. The Father's still in control of all things, and we are learning to be the best eternal managers that the Most High has built us to be. So we just need to make sure we understand that. Okay, let me keep it going. All right, just had to give you a break on that because I know some people get stuck right there and they can't move. All right, 19. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Because, we have to still teach those nations how to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Because remember, it was never given to them in the beginning. And when they got their hands on it in a led astray way, in a led astray process, which is Most High did with them, they did what? They managed it wrong. They don't know how to manage the law, statutes, commandments, and they don't really follow them, as we can see in this place. Even our own people have a problem following the law, statutes, commandments. True in point. Do we teach our people, the ones that need to be taught this and should be taught? Not everybody, because they're blocked, they're spiritually blocked. They're not going to be able to get it. But the ones who are open to the clues, do we ever teach them how to really do the law, statutes, and commandments after they've been completely stripped from their understanding? They don't know their nationalities. They don't know who they are. They think that they're something that was created by Esau, Edom, because they don't even understand the Most High controls all things. So they have no desire to learn the law, statutes, and commandments because it's not put in them. So just like in this case, you have to still be taught, these heathens have to be taught how to worship at the tabernacle, the Feast of Tabernacles. They don't know how to do that. So they have to be taught to do it, and then they have to be managed in the process of them being taught to do it, because they're not going to get it right the first time, and they may not get it right a few other times after that, but they still have to be managed in their process. This is part of what we learn as we go through our evolution in the infinitive stamp process of us going to be the higher beings that we will be during that time, and in mortality, in immortality, where we won't ever die. Okay, keep it moving. 20. In that day shall there be upon the bells of horses in holiness. I read this already, of course, in the beginning of the lesson. Unto Yahweh and the pots of the Lord. Okay, and the house shall be like the bowls before the altar. The pots of the Lord holding the essence of righteousness, understanding, and blessings. And the bowls before the altar are in terms of what's poured out to the Lord in offerings and giving to him in reference to our reciprocity for what he's giving us in our method of being taught to operate in salvation. Okay, 21, yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord, of hosts, and all they that sacrifice shall come and take them and see therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of Yahweh of hosts. So when you sacrifice from what's in the bowls to go to the Lord in the way that offering's made, you gain the understanding and the righteousness to move in the forward direction of your immortal salvation, and that that process of becoming, as he says, everything's done decently, in order, and in perfect with Yahweh. Next scripture, we're going to next precept Most High gave me. We're going to Isaiah chapter 64. He gave me these scriptures in a specific order so that I can break down where we're going in terms of the nations that are going to be salvaged by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, for the work that they will participate in 1,000 years and then forward, and then those that will be gone. Okay, that's again shocking. Isaiah 64, and we're going to go to we're going to start at the top. I'm gonna try to get just 1 and 2. I might get a little more, but bear with me. Isaiah chapter 64. This, of course, is the prayer for mercy and help, right? Oh, that thou wouldest rend the heavens, that thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence. As when the melting fire burneth, the fire causeth the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence, right? When, 33, we get some more of it. When thou didst tremble, things which we look not for, thou camest down, the mountains flow down at thy presence. So the Most High is definitely going to take down these nations in a way that is going to be beyond remarkable in terms of how we perceive it. Like, for instance, okay, go to 4. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard nor perceived by the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O Yahweh, beside thee, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. So as you can see, the Father is going to bring the level of justification in terms of ending this eonic period. It's going to still blow everybody's mind away, including those that have been awakened to this understanding at a different level, because we don't know exactly how to take it when it happens, okay? 4. For since the beginning, the world men have not heard or perceived. He told you right now, since the beginning, we haven't heard or perceived, okay? By the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O Yahweh, besides thee, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. That means not only are we going to look for what's going to be wonderful and righteous and beyond our belief system that we can imagine, we're talking about the way he's going to chastise this entire world. We're not ready for that. The day of the Lord, we're going to get to that, okay? 5, thou meetest him that rejoiceth and worketh righteousness, those that remember thee in thy ways. Behold, thou art wroth, for we have sinned in those is continuance, and we shall be saved out of it. So that brings me right back to Jeremiah 30, because Jacob's trouble, but this is part of what we have to deal with. Now I want to go over to Micah chapter 1. So go with me to Micah, because we got a lot that we have to deal with, but there's a lot more the Lord's got to do. Micah chapter 1, and I'm at 3 and 4. For behold, Yahweh cometh forth out of his place, and will come down and tread upon the high places of the earth. 4, okay? And the mountains shall be molten under him, and the valley shall be cleft as wax before fire, and as the waters that are poured down a steep place. So all these nations are going to be taken down, and they're not going to come back up. There's not going to be any kind of universal committee or summit where all these different nations think that they're going to negotiate with Yahawashi for a positional plan or program where they're going to be involved with managing what's happening in the world. That's not going to happen. That's not. So don't get it twisted. It ain't going in that direction. And I know sometimes people get tripped up with the way Esau Edom is allowed and afforded the puppetized process of twistology when he brings that kind of information to you and makes you think that they're going to be included in the righteousness and in the management of the new world when it comes to the kingdom and the covenants, but they're not. Okay, Habakkuk. We're going to Habakkuk now, and I'm at Habakkuk chapter 3, and I believe I'm going to 6. Yes, I am. And it reads, he stood and measured the earth. He beheld the drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. So that kind of just leans in and lets you know that the Most High is telling you right off the bat, he's measured the earth, and everything's been done, and everything's now just on the plate to be cooked. And this is what he's doing. And he's going to perform this in front of everything, and nothing's going to stop it. Okay, we did Micah, Habakkuk. Okay, now I'm going to Ezekiel. I got plenty of scriptures to go through, so if you're going to hang. If you're not, don't. It don't matter to me. Ezekiel chapter 43, and I'm going to get 2, but I'll be back to Ezekiel again because I got quite a few to pull from that precepts to pull from Ezekiel from that book. And there's verse 2, Ezekiel 43. And behold, the glory of Yahweh of Israel came from the way of the east, and his voice was like a noise of many waters. Does that remind you of Revelation, right? and also in Daniel. And the earth shined with his glory, right? And so the Most High is telling you that once he enacts his power on this situation, there's not going to be anyone to thwart his power. I'm right here still in Ezekiel, and I'm going to 47. So I went from 43, now I'm going to 47, and I'm going to read 1 through 12. Read with me, Shalaki. Waters from the temple, right? Afterward, he brought me again unto the door of the house, and behold, waters issued out from underneath the threshold of the house eastward, for the forefront of the house stood toward the east, and the waters came down from under and from the right side of the house at the south side of the altar. Remember when Yahawashi talked about he would give you water that you will not thirst from, that will give you understanding of who you're supposed to worship and how you're supposed to worship and be cleansed in the process. This similitude brings you into that understanding. Now let's continue down on 2. Then brought me out of the way of the gate towards and led me about the way without unto the utter gate by the way that looketh eastward, and behold, there ran out waters on the right side. Now, always right side is on Yahawah's side, right? And the waters, the living waters of righteousness and understanding, are that knowledge and information that we have to be secure in and based on, and also washed with, okay? The washed with the water, the righteous water of the word and the spirit, right? Make sure we understand that. Okay, again, finishing 3. And when the man that had the line in his hand went forth eastward, he measured 1,000 cubits, and he brought me through the waters, and the waters were to the ankles. Again, he measured 1,000 and brought me through the waters, and the waters were to his knees. Again, he measured 1,000 and brought me through the waters where to the loins. After he measured 1,000, and this was 5, measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not pass over, for the waters were risen waters to swim in, the rivers that could not be passed over. Now notice he said that. I'm going to finish, keep on going. Right. And he said unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen this question? Here we go, right? Explanation. Then he brought me and caused me to return to the brink of the river. Now when I had returned, behold, at the bank of the river were very many trees on one side and on the other. Now, you know the similitudes of water being the people and the multitudes and all those nations, right, that we're scattered to, and then the trees being those individuals of the righteous that have been brought out and looked upon and set apart, right? Okay. Then said he unto me, these waters issue out towards the east country and go down into the desert and go into the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, and the waters shall be healed. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, because we need to be healed, right? And it shall come to pass that everything that liveth, which moveth whithersoever the rivers shall come, shall live, and there shall be a very great multitude fish, because their water shall come thither, and they shall be healed, and everything shall live whither the river cometh. So that river of life, that water of life that we have is going to flow upon us from the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai. And this is getting us in position to understand these metaphors in this way, right? All right, and 10, and it shall come to pass that the fishers shall stand upon it from Engal, Iganari, even of Engalari, and they shall be a place to spread forth nets, and their fish shall be according to the kinds as the fish of the great sea, exceeding many. So this is why a lot of the brothers are out doing this in terms of the way that they're being fishers of men, and they are spreading their nets, but they're only going to bring in what they'll bring in many kinds, but the great sea will be exceedingly many. And when that exceeding many comes in, those individuals will be filtered and sifted from that. 11, but the miry places thereof and the marshes thereof shall not be healed. they shall be given to salt. So why the miry places, the marshes? Because this is outside the temple. We're talking about what's not in the inner court, what's outside of the area, which is not anything outside of the temple is what? It's a reproach. It's not of the Most High's blessing. 12, and by the river upon the bank thereof on this side and on that side shall grow all trees for meat. Those leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because the waters they issue out of the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine. Remember we talked about the healing leaves in heaven from the tree? This is the metaphor that brings that into perspective. Okay, so we got from 12. Now I want to go to Joel. He took me to Joel because we want to bring in some precepts from the book of Joel. And so I want you to join me there because we got a lot. We got a pretty good amount to go through there. Okay. So first we're going to start with Joel 3, and I'm going to pull Joel 1, 2, and 2 as well. So I want Joel 3, and I'm going to go to 12 through 14. Just follow me. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Right? I'm finishing here. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh, the Lord, is near in the valley of decision. Okay? The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. 16, and Yahweh also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but Yahweh will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel only, not any other nation. Okay. Now, right from there, I'm going to go into Joel 1, and I want 15 because I like that one real quick. He gave me that one. Joel chapter 1 and verse 15, and it reads, alas, for the day of Yahweh is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. It is not the meat cut off before our eyes, yea, joy and gladness from the house of our power. Okay, now I want same book, and I'm going to Joel 2, and I want 1 and 2. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound the alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is near at hand. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. See, the Most High is bringing the power through his children, and he's going to correct all of what needs to be corrected. I'm going to go skip down here to 22 and 23 is what I need. 23, 20, I'm going to go 23. Kind of like, 23. Be glad then, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in Yahweh, your power, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, and will cause to come down for you the rain and the former rain and the latter rain in the first month. Now, you notice we talked about the rain before, about what wouldn't come down on those heathens and those other nations that would not come up to worship for the Feast of Tabernacles. But what we can see and understand clearly here is the Most High has metaphor for speaking in terms of how rain and blessings come to us as the former and the latter. We've seen the former, and now we're experiencing the latter in prophecy as things start to fulfill at this particular time, right? I got more to go on Joel, going down to 28, right? All right, 24. And the floor shall be full of wheat, and the fat shall overflow with the wine and oil. 25. And I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm, and the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. Pause. You see what I'm saying? Everything is controlled by the Most High. The goings, the comings, the puppetized method he uses to control the nations of the world, whether they be heathens or whether they be us or whomever. Nothing is outside of his control. So don't be bugging out on him and trying to act like you want things to stop, because they're not going to. Okay? All right? And it says here, 26, and ye shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of Yahweh, your power, that hath dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed. 27, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh, your power, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. Right? The promises of the Spirit, that the Most High is not going to not take care of us, right? And 28, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men and shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my Spirit, right? Because the Father is not, he's no respecter of persons. Everybody gets to go through his process. Everybody goes through his process. The day of the Lord. 30, and I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. 31, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name, the correct name of Yahweh, shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahweh hath said, and in the remnant whom Yahweh shall call. Now, you can't call him if you don't know the correct name. This is part of the programmed, bugged out process the Most High put on individuals that will not be selected and not be chosen, and they can't call him because they don't know the correct name. So all of them that are calling these other names, they can't call him because they're calling those names. I did a lesson on that earlier where he talked about the fact that if you're not calling on the right name, you good chance you are 2/3. It's a good chance you are 2/3. I don't know. I don't make the call. I'm just saying that's a good observation, though. That could be the case. Okay. All right. So we got through Joel. Now I want to go to Nahum, and Nahum, I want chapter 1, and I'm gonna give you 5 and 6 here. When it reads, the mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence, yea, the world and all that dwell therein. When he's talking about burning up the elements and the rudiments of evil, of wickedness, that what needs to be destroyed. Who can stand before his indignation? Question. And who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like the fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. Now you can clearly see that's what the Most High has done. See, we got a lot of individuals in this world, right? And what they have done is they've actually chosen the wickedness of this world as a method for them to stand on. Okay, and they've been programmed to do this. So this is not something that, how do I put it, that they can get out of. Okay, they can't get out of this. It's not like it's they can pray it away, or they can act like, well, I'm not going to participate in that, or this, that, and the third. No. If the Most High sets you up for it, you're in it and you can't get out of it. Right? It's just as simple as that. But again, they're delusional because he set them in motion to be delusional. And that's a fact. I know it sounds disturbing to some people, but that's just the nature of what it is. And you can't get away from it. Okay, so Nahum definitely brings that into place there. Next, we're going to Amos. That's the next precepts I'm bringing in. And I'm going to Amos chapter 5. We're bringing in information on the day of the Lord. And we're going to read 18 through 20. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. To what end is it for you? Question. The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into a house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. 20. Shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness and not light? Question. Even very dark and no brightness in it. Right? So the Most High is definitely letting you know he's not interested in idolatry or the processes that we've been following, because it's drawing us directly into, and we have to go through it, which is what? Jacob's trouble, right? So let's go to Jeremiah, and we're going to chapter 30, right? And it reads, and we're going to start at 7, right? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Now, I always go into this part of it, right? And I stop for a moment to meditate and to marinate on this part of the understanding. Alas, right? Meaning you're going to go through this. For that day is great, right? So that none is like it. There's never been anything like this. And we got to still go through it. And even the time of Jacob's trouble, but we shall be saved out of it. Being saved out of something means you had to go through it. You can't get saved from something if you haven't been through it. So you still got to go it. Like I said, I always reference this. The 3 Hebrew children still went into the fire. Yes, they were saved out of it, but don't miss the point that they did go through the fire. Daniel still got put in the lion's den, but he got out of it because the Most High did what he did to shut the lions up from eating him. But don't you think he was really kind of terrified when he was down in it? Don't you think he had some feeling about being in the fire, being put in the fire after the 3 Hebrew children seen what happened to the men trying to put them in the fire? Don't you think they experienced and saw that? You still have to go through it. I did a lesson on stages of tribulation. We still got stages of things you have to go through before you get to the final MOTB. Before you get to the final point of time if a chariot comes to get you. You still have stages of stuff you have to experience. Not getting around that. Just trying to emphasize the spiritual common sense about it. Okay, be saved out of it, right? I mean, is that not true? And 8, but ye shall serve Yahweh. Shalaki. 8, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from thy neck. That's Esau's yoke off of our neck. And will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But they shall serve Yahweh their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Okay? So the Most High is telling you David's going to be in the picture in terms of rulership. But the wacky-tackies don't even pay attention to that because they're on some universalism trip that doesn't even register in the Bible at all, in any capacity. They just pull that out of the backside of themselves. That ain't there. But that's what they've done. 10, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. See, this is not what's happening over in that area right now. Not at all. In any capacity is this happening. But the Most High said, "For I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure and will not leave thee altogether unpunished." So even though he told you about the Jacob's trouble, that you will be saved out of it, this validates the fact that you are also still going to catch some of it. Because he's even told you, he said, although altogether you will not be unpunished, he will correct thee in measure. So you're gonna have some portions of this that's going to touch you and that you're going to get experience with. So you can't think that you're not going to experience this. 4:12, for thus saith Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable and thy wound is grievous. 13, there is none to plead thy cause that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. 14, all thy lovers have forgotten thee. Thy seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Question, thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. Who did it? The Most High did it. Why is he doing it? Because he's going to cleanse and purify you. Why are you getting cleansed and purified? Because you didn't pick up on the clues on how to go through and around this. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. Don't miss it. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahweh, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Now, before I go into the restoration of Jacob, let me just say, the Most High just now explained to you that the rest of the nations are going to go under his jurisdiction and his control, with those that he appointed to control them. Now, in the process of you being given the ability to control these other nations, you will be doing this decently and in order. You're not going to get spiritual power to do just whatever the hell you want to do. You're not going to get it like that. If you are granted the privilege through predestination and already subscribed to get spiritual power selectively among those that will get it, everyone who is YAHSHARALA is not going to get spiritual power to do things of that high level nature. They all will be converted into high level spiritual beings, but that doesn't mean you're going to have some kind of supernatural power to wield at your own will. He's not doing that way. And whoever's getting it has already been predetermined to get it. And they have an attitude and they have a mannerism and a spiritual way of being that shows even today that they are possibly the ones that will retrieve and get this spiritual power. You're not getting spiritual power just because you want vengeance to do shit to people. Will there be things taken out in a vengeance type fashion? That's the prerogative of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Will he participate some of his men to do this? Yes, he will, but those have been determined and selected also. That's not your choice. It's not your choice. The restoration of Jacob. 18, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents and have mercy on his dwellings places, and the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the place shall remain after the manner thereof. 19, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that maketh merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few, and I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them, if that could be possible, because no one will. But it's, if he does a lesson in that on us, then so be it. We'll see how he judges it. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engageth his heart to approach unto me, saith Yahweh. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your power, your God. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahweh goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahweh shall not return until he have done it, and until he hath performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. We're in those latter days now. And this is what the Most High is doing, and he's going to continue to do. I'm going to Isaiah. We're getting close to wrapping it up for all you antsy individuals that can't hang. 11:11. Okay? And it reads, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. He's covering it all, which tells you that we're scattered everywhere in the world, which means we'll look like all the rest of the people. So when I get to the part where it talks about the multitude, the mixed multitude, don't get stupid and go retarded on me and think it means that he's going to save some heathens that don't belong, or some Edomites. That ain't what it is. This is not for them. This doesn't apply to them. None of this applies to them. They are outside vessels of wrath fitted for destruction that are in this movie as stand-ins and background. This is all they are. And they think that they're important and they're going to win the best Oscar for being the best Edomite portrayal of a Hebrew Israelite in the truth as possible, when you're not getting any rewards because you're not it. Point blank, period. Okay, let's go to Zephaniah, because that's where he took me. We're going to Zephaniah, and I'm at Zephaniah 1:14-18. And it reads, the great day of Yahweh is near. It is near and hasteneth greatly, even the voice of the day of Yahweh. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Right? The Most High is going to make them cry there bitterly. Because he ain't messing around. 15. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities. That's where we are here. Hello, there's your U.S. And against the high towers. Yep, that's it. New York. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men. Now, can't you see how blind people are walking now? They're oblivious to what's actually going down. They're so close, right at their heels, right? Because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. 18, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath. but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. He's not coming back like the fake Jews and the East Edomites and the Christians talk about, bringing all this peace and all these gifts and all these roses and chocolates. He ain't doing that. Yahushua ain't coming back with that. They could forget that, because that's not happening. Okay? Going to Zechariah. Zechariah 24. All right, what do I got? Yep, I got 21, right? Yeah, I believe I do. Yep. Zechariah 24:21, and it reads, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when Yahweh of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem before his ancient glorious. They're not going to be able to hide in bunkers for long. The angels will pull them out. We will pull them out. They're coming out, and they're going into captivity, and they're going to love it because it's going to be a righteous captivity. So they'll be all right. They'll be able to make it. Then I do 13. Okay, let me see. 13. Isaiah. What did I have? 9:11. I did. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh. Isaiah 13:9-11. Behold, the day of the Lord come, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. 10. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And of course, how does he do it? Because I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the gold wedge of Ophir. Therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger, and it shall be as the chased roe. And you know, when you chase a deer and it go crazy, and as a sheep that no man taketh up, they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone to his own land. Now, stay with me on that. They're going to flee to their own land. And everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces and before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravaged, right? Because Babylon will fall. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver as for gold, and they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, right? Sorry, Shalaki. To pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, and shall the Arabian pitch their tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, Shalaki, and owls shall dwell there, and styres shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the land shall cry in the desolate houses, and the dragons in their pleasant places, and their time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. And we can see it happening already over in those areas. It's starting to take form and take shape. And we love it because we want to get out of here. So this is all good for us to the maximum. I want Isaiah 66. We're getting close to closing this out. So bear with me. If you still hanging, then you learning something. If you're not, then good for you. Good riddance to you. Isaiah 66:10, and we're going from 10, and we're going to read down to finish it out. Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, YAHSHARALA, and be glad with her, all ye that love her. Rejoice for joy with her, all ye that mourn for her. Right? That's our future, right? We talking our future, right? That ye may sup and be satisfied with the breast of her consolations, that ye may milk out and be delighted in abundance of her glory. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will extend. You hear that? He said, behold, I will extend peace to her like a river. Man, we talked about the river before that flows through with everything, the meat for the food and fruit. And the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Now, the glory of the Gentiles, we're talking about the scattered that are coming back to realize who they are. Not no Edomites or no other nations. This ain't got nothing to do, right? Flowing of the stream, and shall suck ye all be bone upon her sides, and be dangled upon her knees. 13, as one whom his mother comforteth, so will I comfort you, and ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem. 14, and when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb. And the hand of Yahweh shall be known toward his servant, and his indignation toward his enemies. So they're going to pay big time, okay? 15, for behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind. Here they come. Here come those, what they call UFOs and UAPs, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his word will he plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh. 18, for I know their works and their thoughts, and it shall come, and it will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. 19, and I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, and draw the bow, and Tubal, and Javan, to the isles far off, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles, meaning the scattered as well as those demons. 20, and they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto Yahweh out of the nations, upon horses and chariots, and in litters, and upon mules, and upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain Jerusalem, saith Yahweh, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel unto the house of Yahweh. See, he's going to have all of the scattered Israelites and all of the ones that didn't know who they were and who were lost, and they're all going to come back, and they're going to be brought to the truth and cleansed. And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, saith Yahweh. As for the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith Yahweh, so shall your seed and your name remain. And see, no one else he's talking about, just us. This book is only for us and all about us. So you got to remember, it's all about the Most High, because he's the one who's pleased with who he is saving. All right. And as for it says here, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord Yahweh. Now you notice it said from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another. You see how we follow the Sabbath through the new moon because that's how he said it was supposed to do it. There's no freaking Fridays and Saturdays or no days of the week. Get out of here with that, all right? You're bugging out, and he bugs you out to do that. 24, and they shall go forth and look upon the carcass of the men that have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. So you're going to definitely see your enemy get it, and that's fine because that's what we resolve to see that. I want Isaiah 56 now, and then we get ready to wrap it up. We got a couple more precepts to go, and then we're going to get into Revelation and Obadiah to let you know that the Edomites are not going to be around anymore. Because, see, basically what we're telling you is the rest of the nations, they will be sent to their adjacent lands after 1,000 years of captivity and re-renovation of all of what they were publicized to perform wickedly when they had their heaven here at this point in time. But all that's going to be set forth and set right, and they're going to do the work. But hey, we're going to be afforded the ability to manage the process in a righteous ruling fashion. Let's just say it that way. Some of us will be afforded the opportunity to manage the righteous work and the ruling in that fashion. That's where it's going to be. And whatever chastisements come upon them in whatever method or methodology that the Most High YAHWAH'S uses, so forth it will be set. Now, will we put the task whip to some of them? That may be so. I mean, I'm sure it will, but it will be under the strict guidance and jurisdiction of YAHWAH'S and how the governmental rulership is laid out in the kingdom of heaven on that time to do that kind of chastisement on the heathen. It won't be you just decide to do whatever you want. I want to emphasize that. It's not going to be that way. Ain't nobody willy-nilly in the power of the Most High YAHWAH'S. It ain't going to happen like that. Okay? 56. 56 in that one, right? Yeah. Okay. Thus saith Yahweh, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold of it. Keep the Sabbath from polluting it, and keep his hand from doing any evil. So to me, when I read this and how it resonates in my spirit is that whatever the Father's doing, I want to be in line with what he's doing. So I'm not bucking up against what he does to his creation. If he makes the ones that he predetermined and he created and predestined to be bug outs, and they go off and they just do weird shit out here in this world, which Jake is doing a lot of, if not trying to do the majority of it, and then the rest of these bug outs, I ain't got no beef with that. I ain't got no problem with it. I don't have no beef with the way the Most High is ending this. I'm on board with whatever he's on board with. If whoever he hates, I hate. Whoever the Most High loves, YAHWAH'S loves, I love. I'm in compliance with that. I'm not arguing with nobody that wants to go and do whatever they think they're going to do, because I realize now, whatever they think they're doing, they don't control it. He controls it. And he tells me to say it, and I'm saying it. And if anybody don't like it, I don't care, because he made you not like it. So I ain't gonna worry about it. Reading, okay? All right, that's why he said, blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil. Neither let the son of the stranger that hath joined himself to Yahweh speak, saying, the Lord Yahweh hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. Now, when he says the stranger, neither let the son of the stranger. Now, we're talking, Shlaki, I need to get my drink. We're talking about scattered Israelites. We're not talking about some universal wacky-tacky religious belief system person who thinks that they've been included because they decided to try to start following the law, statute, commandments at this time during this prophetic period and so on, like they felt like they've done before, when they used to say, no, the law is done away with, we're not doing that anymore. See, first of all, just because you see what's happening and you can't do it, I guess it's sort of like what I said earlier, when I was talking about the situation where they did that thing, right? Where they said they did that brotherly shove, right? And they said, nobody can do it the way we do it. No one has been able to do it the way we do it. Nobody can stop it. We praise, worship, and pray the Most High won't take it away from us. We're not going to apologize for doing it. And at the same time, you can't stop it. That's how the Most High is operating with the way things are going in this prophetic truth that's coming forward. Nobody can do it the way we've been given the ability to do it. They can't duplicate it. They can't stop it. They may not like it, but it doesn't matter because they can't do anything about it. Real clear. Okay. So just wanted to bring that point out when I talked about this part of it in this is Isaiah chapter 56. Okay. For thus saith Yahweh unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbaths and choose the things that please me and take hold of my covenant. Just because you do it, you are able to do it because it applies to you as a scattered Israelite that's been brought back into the fold. Because the heathen can't take a hold of the covenant. It doesn't apply to them. They're trying to do that now over in those areas of Northeast Africa where they think that they belong in the covenant when they do not. You can't just decide to join an ethnicity and then you become part of the bloodline in the covenant. Even if you've infiltrated some of the Akwaf, the women that are part of the covenant, if you're a heathen, you're still not part of the covenant. It's not the way it is. Unless you're the seed, like in Numbers chapter 118, of the father of those individuals that were selected through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not Esau, you are not part of the covenant. I don't care what you say or how you subscribe or how many grandmothers you come out of. It ain't going to happen. Go ahead and finish it up. All right. For thus saith Yahweh unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbaths, who choose the things that please me and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in mine house and within my walls a place and a name better than of the sons and of daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Those eunuchs or those individuals have to be Israelites because he's not going to give this covenant to an Edomite. He's not going to give it to a heathen. So don't get it twisted. You're not going to put some universalism in here. It's not going to work. Okay, so don't do it. Also, the sons of the stranger, those are Israelites that are scattered and brought back in, that joined themselves to Yahweh to serve him and to love the name of Yahweh, to be his servants, even Shalaki, every one of them that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant, even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar, for mine house shall be called the house of prayer for all peoples, but only those all people will pertain to who this book pertains to. This covenant was never given to all people. This book wasn't given to all people. There was confiscation and there was infiltration, but the Most High did that to lead them astray. Okay? Remember that. 2nd Ezra chapter 14, he talked about there were 204 books that were brought out when Ezra came out of captivity, the Babylonian captivity. And when they did up these books, they did what? They did 204 books. There were worthy and unworthy given. And then there's some separated for those that are of greater knowledge and wisdom. The worthy and the unworthy got the books too. And this gives them the indication that they think they belong in this, but they do not. Okay, not at all. Okay. All right. He said, for mine house shall be called the house of prayer for all people that belong to this book. The Lord Yahweh, which gathereth the outcast of Israel. See, because he told you right there, going back into this, right after he said that, the Lord Yahweh, which gathereth the outcast of Israel, yet will I gather others to him besides those that are gathered unto him. In other words, he's gathering everybody that's scattered, all that are scattered. Don't get it misunderstood. This book only belongs to the Israelites. It doesn't belong to any other nations. All ye, okay, Shalaki, all ye beasts of the field come to devour ye, all ye beasts in the forest. His watchmen are blind, they are all ignorant, they are all dumb dogs, they cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Now, why does he say that? Because you have a lot of gatekeepers and false prophets and pastors and stuff. You know, your Geno Jerry Springers and all those weirdos. They believe in a universal belief system that just doesn't match up with the scriptures or anything of that nature, and they're trying to pull some people in. I was trying to find that image I had of what was in that movie in the Planet of the Apes where Esau was kissing that female ape. I wanted to pull it up, but I couldn't find it on my phone after I looked for it. And they love that. That's what I'm saying. All ye, is why I pulled that part of scripture, right? The Lord which gathers the outcast of Israel, yet will I gather others unto him beside those that are gathered unto him. Meaning, beside those that are gathered unto him, meaning that all of them that were supposedly lost and couldn't be found, he's going to find and he will have them all. He will get them all. And so no one's going to be left out. Basically, that's what it's saying. It ain't talking about other nations that are going to be included, okay? All ye beasts of the field come to devour, yea, all ye beasts in the forest. 10, his watchmen are blind, they are all ignorant, they are all dumb dogs, they cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all took to their own way, even one for his gain from his quarter. So when you got your TD snakes and your worthless dollar and your feminine Olsteins and all these individuals, you say they Most High is giving you the similitude that they went their own way. He put them in this direction because they couldn't pick up the clues to understand because they weren't programmed to do so. So they're in that fashion and going in that direction as a marker to show you that's not the way to go. Because he even said the wide gate is not it, it's the straight gate. And all of them have big, giant, wide gate to go through. Come ye, 12, okay. Come ye, yea, yes, they, I will fetch wine and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall be as this day and much more abundant. So that's what they teach, that prosperity movement, and they teach that you're going to be in a position where, the way you reach heaven and the way you reach the righteousness of the Most High YAHWAH'S is through their method of what they think is a sacrifice, but it's not a sacrifice. Why? Because it's in error, it's inaccurate, and all they're doing is worshiping creation instead of the Most High Creator, and that's what put them in that position. I'm going to go to Numbers. We only got about a couple more precepts left to go, and then Obadiah to read on that, and then we're going to be out of here. So hang if you can hang, and if you can't, then you just can't. It's just as simple as that. But I'm going to Numbers, and I'm going to Numbers 26. Do I know? Shalaki. I pulled Numbers 26, but he didn't give me that one. What was it? It was Leviticus. Okay, let me go back. All right. Leviticus. Yeah, I want Leviticus 35. Yeah, Leviticus chapter 35. What? What am I doing? No. What am I talking about? Schlocky. I know I'm losing it now. Oh, what am I doing? That's not what I want. Was it 25? I think it was. Let me see. Let me check. 25. No. Oh yeah, that's right. I went past that one. That was I wanted Revelation. I'm Shalaki. I pulled Numbers 26 and Leviticus 25, and then I pulled back off of it. He pulled me back off of those two, and he gave me Revelation 7 and 9. Okay, that's what it was. Okay. Shalaki, my bad. Sometimes you gotta not make the wrong mistake. Go to the New Testament. All right, Revelation 7, and then I got 9. There it is. After this, I beheld and lo, a great multitude, which no man, that's what I want. After this, I beheld and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hand. Now, this is where the wacky-tackies come into trying to use their twistology and their universalism and their confusion by trying to say this is saying that there'll be more people there in heaven that will be given the opportunity to be in the righteous rulership, like the Israelites converted into children of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. But no, this mixed multitude is the scattered Israelites that were brought from all the nations that we were scattered all over from. And as we look like all the other nations, that's why they look like a mixed multitude, because they look like the nations they were scattered to and all over. And so they're being brought out, and they're the ones that are standing. And that's why John couldn't recognize them based on the fact that they look like all these other nations. And that's why we don't judge a person, or we don't discern the judgment of a person based on their appearance. We judge through the Spirit in terms of whether or not they've been able to receive this understanding and be able to take it and move forward with it as they've been predetermined from the beginning to be able to do so. So this mixed multitude is the scattered chosen that are all over the world. And that's why it confuses people when they read this portion of Revelation 7:9. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that we got that point in play. And then we're also going to get ready to finish out here in Revelation, and we're going to go to 21 and 1 through 27. 21, and it reads, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." So when we talk about a new heaven and a new earth, we're talking about the elements and the rudiments being dismantled and burnt up and taken away. But the earth in itself, the physical manifestation of this particular planet terra firma that we're on, is not going to be destroyed in that way. It'll be areas that will be scorched to a great degree, but it's not going to be destroyed. It's not going to destroy this whole planet. 2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. That's a metaphor and idiom that speaks to the fact that once we come out of the chariots, those individuals, those that are selected to be of the 144 and come down, then once they come down as a bride adorned for her husband, we're talking about, the actual entities themselves that are converted, not a physical place like some sort of structural buildings and things of that nature. I'm not saying that that's not part of what can be applied once we're down here, but that's not coming down in that way. This is how they get twisted up. These will be the rejuvenated, reinvented, and reestablished righteous men of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai that are coming down to perform the rest of the prophecies that finish out Revelation. So this is what we're talking about in terms of that husbandry process. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, "Behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the power and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their power, be their God. 4, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega. This is Yahushua, right? Because he has the beginning and the end. And I will give unto him that is heiress of all of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his power, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and the unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. That is the nuclear fire that is coming to create that molten lava like lake of fire that will be here, that's going to cook a whole lot of people, because that's their purpose, and they've been scheduled to be there in that. And there came unto me one of 7 angels, which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, come hither, and I will show thee the bride and the Lamb's wife. And then, of course, we go right dealing with New Jerusalem. And it says here, and he carried away in the spirit to a great, it carried me away in the spirit to a great high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from Yahweh, having the glory of Yahweh, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like to jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the 12 gates, 12 angels, and the names therein, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Let's stop there for a moment. This is what's happening at the end in heaven in Revelation, when everything's being set up right before we all get ready to deal with getting rid of everybody else that ain't going to be there, like Canaanites and Edomites, and the rest of the nations set in place and set in order. So none of those other nations get to go and deal or come into those areas to touch or be near those gates. They're outside of the temple, profane, okay? 13, and on the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 fountains, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And who were the 12 apostles named after? Just like the 12 tribes, right? In that same order. And he that talked with me had a golden reed, a measure to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth 4 and the length is as long as the breadth, and the measure of the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs length, and the breadth of the height of it are equal. We're talking about almost 240,000 miles, something like that. Wow, 240,000 miles. That's pretty big. All right. What else we got? Okay. Length and equal. All right, and 17, and the measure of the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is of the angel. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the mountain and the fountains of the wall of all the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. And first foundation was jasper, second sapphire, and the third chisoni, right? Yeah, chalcedony, and the fourth of an emerald, and the fifth of sardonyx, and sixth sardis, and seventh in crystallite, and eighth in beryl, and ninth in topaz, and 10th in a syrupus, and 11 in jacinth, and 12th in amethyst, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of 1 pearl, and street of city was pure gold, and as were transparent glass. and I saw no temple therein, for Yahweh, the Lord Almighty, and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need for sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of Yahweh did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it, and the gate of it shall not be shut at all day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and the honor of the nations into it, and there shall in no wise enter into anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but which are written in the Lamb's book of life. Okay, so, and there shall be no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination. So anything that is a abominable creature, like an Edomite, male, female, or a heathen, that is abomination or defileth, it can't go. It can't be in there. And ain't no Israelite converted to sons and daughters of Yahweh going outside the temple and going to grab no Edomites or grab no abomination heathen and bring them into the inner court or the temple. And anybody gonna have no relationship with them outside like that with a righteous, precious, sacred body that you've been converted to. It can't happen. Or you're making the Father a liar. So that ain't going, nothing like that's going in there. And plus, all the Edomites and everybody are going to be gone. The Canaanites and all the Edomites are going to be gone. Okay, let's get that. Let's go to that. Let's go to the book of Obadiah, right? And then we can read it. You see what I'm saying? Because he'll tell you right there, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Woo-wee. Book of Obadiah. Let me get it. It's only one chapter, and that's all it is. There it is, baby. The vision. We're gonna finish it up with this, and then yep, we'll finish it up with this, and then Matthew, baby. Okay. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. And that's what you see happening right now in the world. Okay? Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, and thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is on high, who saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would thou not have stolen till thou have enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes, which these devils don't do? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? We are experiencing and seeing it right now happening in front of our face. If that ain't prophecy being revealed to you, then you are a dullard, and you're a slow, smoked up and blind and spiritually blocked that you can't see what's going on. All right? Searched out. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that those German Temanians, okay, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In that day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, which we see now, and cast lots upon YAHSHARALA, Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. See, we became a stranger, right? Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossways to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered upon those his that did remain in the day of distress, even the ones that stayed, right? Now y'all gotta pay. All right. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Okay? All right? Up upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh hath spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain, the Philistine, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead, and the captivity of the host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanite, even into Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Shepherd, Sephard, shall possess the cities of the south, and saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahweh's. And I'm going to give you Matthew chapter 7 and 21, and we will close it out. And that will be it. And it reads, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, we have not prophesied. We have not prophesied in thy name, question, or have we not? Because they didn't. Salaki. Have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, question, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye worker of iniquity. Hello, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh, Bashem, Rakakudas, Thuara, Yahweh, Thuara, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua. I thank you, my Father, for all the wisdom that you supply. Kolo Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. Babakasha Yahweh, for a power all the time. Barakatha Yahweh, for your mercy all the time. I thank you, my Father, for allowing me to praise you now. Kolo Yahweh, Vashem Yahushua. Shalahi Yahweh, for your mercy all the time. Kolo Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua.